So this, viewers, is Anglesey Barracks, and the name might indicate soldiers were resting here, but the buildings were actually designed to serve men who worked at Dinorwig quarry, but didn't live in the immediate area. Contrary to some beliefs, these barracks did not only serve men from Anglesey, but instead workers who travelled from a wide range of areas across Gwynedd and Anglesey. This block of buildings, that can be seen in some form today on the hillside above Llanberis, comprised of 11 cottages built using granite blocks, with another 11 running parallel, creating the appearance of a terraced street. Originally opened in the 1870s, the housing allowed the travelling quarrymen to stay during their working week. They would arrive on a Monday morning and not return until Saturday afternoon. Living conditions during this time were especially poor, as each of the cottages fitted in 4 workers. With the houses only made up of 2 rooms, inside these buildings you'd find a living room with a coal fireplace, which the men would have to fill themselves, carrying the coal up the steep hill to the cottages. Alongside this, a table with basic kitchen china for food preparation and eating would be found, while the second room served as a bedroom, with 4 ramshackle cots for the quarrymen to squeeze themselves into. The properties offered little protection from the elements, with windows only provided on the street side of the buildings, leaving the buildings and in turn the workers suffered through the unpleasant conditions of the winter. Often the only comfort from these quarrymen would find was that the rooms were shared with other family members working in the quarry. The workers were still expected to pay 1 shilling each to stay in the barracks each week. So worse in these conditions, the houses were often filled with vermin like fleas and rats, while they also stored tools and supplies, including dynamite. This, according to some history people, led one quarryman by the name of Hugh Roberts, attempting to thaw out some dynamite for the day's use on the 14th of March 1894, which detonated, killing him instantly. Other workers also narrowly avoided being harmed, as they had just left for the day's work. Mr. Roberts from Anglesey, where he lived with his wife and 6 children, he served as a rockman in the quarry, and his then quarry manager, W. Vivian, wrote to the local newspapers to explain that he had received all necessary instructions in English and Welsh about the dangers of dynamite. Despite electricity being added to the quarry in 1905, it was not wired up to the barracks, where the men still relied on candlelight. Across the site, the men only had access to 2 privies. Only in later years was a pump tap added to the site. The barracks were eventually closed in 1937 after it was decided they were unfit for human habitation. Now many of the houses have been reclaimed by nature, but the street can still be reached and explored by those who desire to do so. I desired to do so, and that's why we're here. So these opened in 1870s and they were used until 1937. So this is one of the cottages, and there was just 2 rooms to each cottage. We'll take a look inside. This is the living room with a fireplace, and it's got 2 inset areas there that have been done with lime plaster. That's the fireplace there, and this is where the workers would have lived, ate, and then they had a small bedroom here, and 4 people slept in this bedroom. And they only had 1 window in each room at one side. None on that side, that they would have had quite a nice view, to be honest, but there wasn't any there. The only window was into the street itself of the cottages. There's 11 of these, and this has the number 2 written on the wall. Not sure why. Don't know if that's just graffiti, but it's all done in the slate from the quarry, and as you can see the head height's quite low. I have to duck to go through the doorways. Quite famous, these cottages. Many a photograph online about them. Photograph about them? Photograph online showing them. That's what I meant. So I've just counted the cottages up, viewers, and there's 11 on this side and if I've counted it correctly, there's 12 on this side. Just going through the chimneys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. But on this side there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there's 11 on this side and 12 on the other side. And they're all pretty much the same. This is Anglesey Barracks. I love the way the stonemasons have used stones of all different shapes to build the wall. There's almost a triangle there. And then there's squares and rectangles, and it's all just been built by the stonemasons. And then this sort of plaster or cement bonding it all together in between the cracks. As we look in through this window, through whatever that is, into the bedroom of this cottage. Like many abandoned buildings that go to viewers and document, the roof has been intentionally removed from here, presumably for tax reasons. It's what looks like the remains of a steel sheet here in this cottage. This one uniquely has a window at the back. I don't know if that's been added afterwards. It looks like the windows were original, because this one's also got one in the same place. That is this back row here, where there's 12 on this side but only 11 on that side. It feels like these ones were built first and then this row of 12 was built afterwards. Got the cement and the render on the walls here. You can still see the handprints from the people who put it on. Look, a full handprint there. Small big hands like mine. Almost fits perfectly. That was done presumably in the 1870s when these cottages were built. This random small building here that's just to the back of the cottages. Looks like there used to be another building there. There's a big pile of slate there. It's got an inset in the wall there and an inset in the wall there, and just one door, and like a Q painted on the walls. Just a thought, viewers, I'm looking at the window and the openings, and it doesn't look like there was actually any glass in the windows. It was just an opening. So in bad weather the wind would have just howled through. So on these two cottages here, viewers, there's some remains of the roof timbers that looked fairly intact, so that I'm pretty sure the roof's been intentionally removed. And now that's usually done to change it from a dwelling to a ruin, so no tax is due. Just looking here, have a look up at that roof truss. That's a solid bit of timber. There's nothing, there hasn't been anything wrong with the roof here, it's just been pulled down. So look at the render in the chimney of this cottage.
even if it was bog standard, where there was literally no electric, nothing, but it was you could rent it out.
Yeah, we're just saying off camera, viewers, that when I started filming there, that if they'd left the roofs on, these would have been great little holiday lets. No, like, you know, there's no running water out up here, but it could have been like glamping pods. It would have been sustainable, but instead they were a ruin and a reminder of what used to be here at Anglesey Barracks. So viewers, for the 23 cottages that were here and 4 people in each cottage, there was only 2 toilets, and one is there and the other one is just behind that cottage there. So we're going to go look at the bottom of the incline now, see what that's all about, which is that way. So looking at these end 2 cottages here had windows on this side, but the rest of them didn't, and it looks like there's been a collapse at some point because the stone, the slate work there is different, as if it's been repaired.
Andy,
yeah,
the windows might have had that real thick glass. You know what you get, what you can walk on?
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
I'm just looking at this piece here.
Yeah?
That looks like it's from a...
Is that from a smashed bottle?
Yeah, and there's a bit there.
Ah, right. But behind Paul is one of the other toilet blocks. They called him a privy. That is what that is. There's one at the other side beyond the 2 sets of cottages. But we're going to go back to the incline and make our way to the bottom of the winding engines or winding gear. So down there is another one of the carts, it's the second one we've seen up to now along this incline, incline A. We're nearing the bottom of it now, where the wagons were emptied and loaded onto a different type of wagon for then transportation down to the town. And down here we've got some, what did you call these, Paul? They're like points.
Like switch points where I still believe there was some kind of lever to push the carts the way they want them to go, unless it was just by hand to push the cart and gravitation would have gone.
I don't know how it works really. So there's no set point to force it one way or the other, unless the point was in here, unless that went across in that centre section there, but that part's been removed. If you know, viewers, please leave a comment. If you look down there to quite a nice medieval castle. The remains of another electricity pole carrying device with the porcelain insulators there. So just looking at this building here and this window, it looks like someone could look through the wall looking back up the curved incline here as we're approaching another brake drum on this incline. That's a cool little bridge over the incline. That's really cool. So this is the next brake drum on the way down this incline, as we've just navigated this curve here and this building, go under this lovely bridge, and then the carts went off that way.
Andy, you gotta see that.
Oh wow, that's the intact brake lever with a big arm on it. Roof's not looking so good, but the brake lever arm is intact. Now that wasn't present on the brake engine that was higher up. Wonder if I can operate it. See if you can operate it, Paul. Looks like there was pegs, so you could peg it on a different level. Yeah, that's operating the brake. I'm gonna go in there and have a look. Try and get a close-up of you operating it. Do it again, Paul. Yeah, you operate the brake there.
That's as far as it'll go.
Yeah, then lower it down again. Cool. We can see all the rope is wound off that drum, and it's fully wound up on that drum. It's looking down the incline there. Paul's just gone on that parallel path. So the plan is, viewers, we've just been checking out this path. It looks like it was engineered with a great level of effort at some point, but it seems to lead to nowhere now because there's been a big landslide around there. But we've noticed down in the town there is a museum we already knew about, but they're stoking one of the little steam trains up. So we're going to go back to the car and check out the bottom of the incline, because the incline went down to that town of Dinorwig, and we're going to check it out, check out the bottom of the incline and check out the little steam train. And I'll probably get the drone up while I'm down there to get some better shots of Anglesey Barracks. So that is the plan currently, but easier said than done. We now need to climb right back up to the car, which is quite an elevation, a couple of 100 metres I think, as we pass this brake drum. Thank you so much for watching, viewers, and making it to the end. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already, and I'll see you next Thursday at 4 PM UK time as we head back into town and we check out the steam railway.